You already know. It's your boy Donnie Nola, aka Mr. Nola with the Doja, aka Mr. Ski Mask with the sweet gas. We are back once again, the Let Me Rap With You podcast. We just had Apocalypse come back for the original, we brought back the Let Me Rap With You original series, how we started it. And, definitely shout out my guy Apocalypse for returning. But today, we got a real great guest, somebody who has, you know, everybody wants to give Donnie Nola his credit about, what he's done in the funk community and stuff like that. But, like I always tell, and I've said it in other episodes with, the Apocalypse episode and stuff like that, it's a couple of us. There's a couple of us out here. And, we have to give the acknowledgement to those. So I wanted to bring one of those guys on here today. We got Danny Techaholic in the building.
Yo, what's up?
Man, honestly, bro, it's just finally great to sit here and actually have this conversation with you, bro, because, like I said, I'm not the only person who has been in this community trying to platform artists and give them a chance to, tell their stories. So I definitely had to, come on here, give you the acknowledgement and, just not even only that, man, discuss your story as well, because, a lot of people there, we're helping the culture. So, it's not often we get to, tell our side of things and everything. So, it's definitely going to be great to hear, your part and all that. But, honestly, for a great introduction, just to let the fans know where the funk started for you.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it would stem similar to like how every producer says that they hear one artist, then they hear another artist, and then they go through the rabbit hole on SoundCloud and Spotify in general, et cetera, et cetera. But it initially started, and I say this story to a lot of people. It actually started when I went to, I think I was either 17 or 18, and I went to my first concert ever. Young Gravy, Baby No Money. They've been popping off recently. And one of the beats that they originally collabed on with was a beat that a member of Purple Posse created,
Mm.
which was a Seri. And then through that, I found Jason Rich, I found Sudier, I found other members of Purple Posse, Holy Mob, Always Proper. Just went through the rabbit hole for years and years and years. And just through that, I really wasn't as vocal in the community because obviously Discord and everything else. I mean, everybody probably has heard of 808.wave in general before, like before that was even a thing. It was very difficult to like meet people in this actual genre because obviously like I define it as, and also Yakai, aka Von Storm, defines it as it's an internet genre. So it was really difficult for people IRL to meet up. It was difficult for people to connect because we're all behind the screen. We're all in our bedrooms. We're producing these beats on our computer, our laptops, et cetera, et cetera. So once we were actually able to break out that mold into the real life aspect when it comes to like meetups, venues, concerts, lineups, having that all over the country and as a matter of fact, all over the world. It's turned into something that I feel that is bigger than all of us can imagine because of the sheer fact that it seems like it's growing really fast, but we're just in the baby steps of having stuff come to the reality of being IRL when it comes to
It
shows and
seems like
lineups.
the baby is just really starting to walk now. And to be honest, taking it back to, like you said, the internet era, because honestly, the first person that I honestly met in the community was Alleged. And I honestly got lucky seeing him because his family was, probably about 45 minutes away from where I live at, and he had just happened to visit them around the time. So on his last day here before he had to leave, he had stopped by the Funky Town headquarters, and we just got it popping there.
Yeah, man. And also like this is it's kind of weird because I'm usually the one asking the questions, so it's kind of a different scenario. I get that. I feel like you have a lot of
One thing I gotta ask you though,
what's
because
up.
you mentioned always proper.
Hmm.
We never, and nobody in the community, and I have a post, I think it's the very, very first post that I have on the Funky Town Instagram ever.
Yeah.
At, back when Always Proper originally began, they really started out like on lo-fi, like chill.
Yeah,
ambient. Like nobody ever really gets to discuss that. Like, and I think honestly, I'm really about to go back when I get home, when I get back, I'm gonna see if I can find the crate that I have before they took it off the before Immune took it off the internet, or
hmm,
back then the real Always Proper fans, if you're the real Always Proper fans, people know him as Disco Burger. Sorry, Immune, I don't mean to do this, but you know, the real Always Proper fans, we know. Before he took those projects off, I had actually I think I downloaded volume one and two and burnt them on a CD or something, and it's somewhere like in my crates at home.
yeah,
And for me, it's like, and not even that. I actually blogged Always Proper. I was blogging them when they were coming out. I got put on early. I was on SoundCloud every fucking day. Literally, like before I would go to school, go to work or whatever, I was on SoundCloud every fucking day looking for new music. And I just found them, and like I said, shout out to Immune because you know, this is somebody and he showed love early. I posted him a couple times. We wound up doing the very first interview that I think I actually ever did, like ever in history of my lifetime of ever even doing interviews, was a written blog interview when Immune first started Always Proper back then. And
hmm.
that was the very first, like, I literally sent him a questionnaire through email and he sent everything back, like, literally in a matter, like, he sent it back the next day because I told him he didn't have to rush, but he sent it back by the next day. And, like, oof.
It,
And he made a whole mix for my blog. He made a whole mix and put it on
that's dope.
SoundCloud and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say going back to that. I think is really great the fact that while there are far and few people that actually document this stuff, it's really great to talk about the stories in general, especially when you meet someone in person. It's like, oh, I know someone that met him beats. Oh, I had conversations with Mythic in general. Like you meet these notable people. It's far and few, but at least you have those stories, you have those memories. Similar to like how you can carry on their legacy in a way, shape, or form. Because without hearing somebody or talking about the stories, that's kind of, in my way, that's how their legacy doesn't carry on. So it's kind of a good way to talk about these stories and talk about these views or just anything that carries their memory in general.
I mean, I'll say it like this: when they put it back in funk history, me and Bad Kids meeting, like that, that shocked the world right there. Like when me and like when I had Bad Kids people on the podcast in this room that we're sitting in right now. Shout out to Paradise Recording Studios. But
Hmm.
you know, we had Bad Kids sitting right here in this studio and we did an actual podcast in here while the majority of us in the funk community are still doing everything on internet wise, you know,
Yeah.
even and honestly just thinking about it, like last week, Full Meta Parkers, somebody one of Ryan Celsius' greatest signings, had him here
Hmm.
for the second time actually, because
Yeah.
when I had so it's funny, right? I'm actually gonna give you guys I'm gonna give the fans the story and then we're gonna get because this is his interview, y'all, but like I said,
Bro, it's a conversation at the end of
yeah,
the day, not gonna lie. Like, it's
yeah,
not just
and
about
we're
me, it's
talking
about
about
everybody
history.
in general. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, as long
and
as it gets documented, like, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
yeah, and honestly, what I'll say is, for me, it's like fix the audio focus. What I would say is with Bad Kids, like just like everybody else on the internet, we were all, you know, just we were all just trying to, you know, just meet up and all that. But when it came to putting out my first, I did my first DI, well, actually my second DIY show. First one I did years ago failed, flopped. Only had like 5, 7 people in there. But I did my second one like 10 years later, which was this year, the Slide and Shine. And when I was coming up with the roster, which was, you know, mainly, you know, great friends of mine, shout out to Hashman, hashtag Haley, Chico, shout out to everybody. When I implemented this, I was, you know, doing it, you know, in a Donnie Nola alias. So I told myself if I'm going to be doing this as Donnie Nola, I actually need to bring some people from Funky Town to the show. So I called Bad Kids. Then after that, I called Full Metal Parkers. Definitely shout out to Full Metal Parkers. He was our special guest. They were both with it. They literally both showed up before their sets. They actually got to watch the other people perform. They actually, really, show love and everything. It wasn't just, oh, I'm showing up, getting paid to perform, whatever, da da da. But they actually came through. They showed love and everything. So, and then right after that, I wish I could have got Full Metal Parkers here at the same time, but rental, gotta get that back, all
Yeah.
that. But Bad
Yeah.
Kids, he had a night here. So literally right after the show, we literally took all the equipment, put it in the Uber XL, and came right back there to the podcast.
Damn, man, that's actually dope. I think I've seen that episode before. I got to go back and watch it again, though. But this is similar to how the Funk Around guys are. Everybody, like, this is not a written rule or anything, but literally everybody stays until the very last set. Like, unless there's only maybe like one dip off just because like someone's tired or something, if whatnot. But that's sort of like I want to give a shout out to them as well, mainly for the reason that it's not an organization. It's more of a family, especially when you finally meet them. Like I've had the privilege to meet them at this point a half a dozen times, and every single time that I've had conversations with them, talked to them about the videos, talked about getting interviews with people, talked about just when's the next link up, when's the next drop happening. It's nothing that I would compare anything that I've had um, going to other live shows with because everybody treats me extremely well, greater than I could actually imagine. And everybody is respectful of each other. They lift each other up. Like I would say the biggest um people that I feel like out of the Funk Around crew that lift each other up would have to be he doesn't talk a lot, but he when he does, he definitely makes an impact would have to be Hoodie Mane, Imperium, and thank God I actually met Inocalypse. Also, workhorse for them would have to be Lil Rocket Man. Corey underrated in general when it comes to booking everything. But just those guys in general, they're really, really underrated. Even though they're the one of the only people that make these live shows actually happen, um, I feel like their flowers need to be given, especially right now since we're talking about them, because they've felt like family ever since I've started or had conversations with them with each show that I go to see them.
And let's be honest, they're given a name for a lot of unknown people. A lot of us are still unknown to the majority of the world, and they are just out here doing show after show. Like, just like even Apocalypse said it in our last episode, just seeing Ryan Celsius in Vegas was, and just seeing those pictures, seeing that crowd was unbelievable because even me, from a person who started interviewing funk artists on Instagram back in 2021, 22, I would have never thought that something like that would have been brought so fast, not just for Ryan, but also for people like Von, people like Apocalypse, people like Bad Kids, people like Von, Ponsuda, Von Stone, all of them.
Yeah, like it's I would say this. It's a great thing that you keep bringing Nyclip's name up because he is hands down like he's brutally honest, but he's one of the realest people I've ever met in the actual community. Like he'll give you the criticism that you need. He doesn't care if he hurts your feelings or not, but he will be real and he will be honest and he will give you his opinion. That's like one thing that I I completely agree and support him with because realest person I ever met when it comes to any of these shows, and I will stand by that, and I will support him wherever I possibly can.
Yeah, no, definitely shout out to Young Demon as he spoke of in the Twitch chat right now. The funk community is just a real tight community. Even me and Apocalypse, I a lot of people don't know, like that interview we did last week was actually our second interview together. But what I decided to do, and not even just with Anocalypse, but like instead of instead of just having Funky Town just has it as its own entity, I combined it with the Let Me Rap With You podcast platform. That way, the bigger the fan base is for the podcast, the bigger the fan base will come for every funk artist that we bring on here.
Yeah.
So, and just to really like show people like it's a different community. Me and Anoculus, we literally spoke it on the last episode. The funk community is a community like no other. How we how we unionize in there is different. Even me, just as I call myself a commentator of the community. I do have my little funk releases and all that, and every now and then, yeah, people do ask me every now and then for a track, but me personally, I would call myself more of the commentator, the person behind the scenes that's seeing what's going on. Same thing. We're more so cultivators of really analyzing what's really going on, what was then and what was now. Like you said, 2021, 2020, funk community in its prime, but mostly just internet based.
Yeah.
Now, New York, Vegas, France,
Texas, DC,
PuffCon,
Germany,
PuffCon, California, PuffCon.
literally. This is a worldwide thing at this point. Like I said earlier, no one expects anything out of the music that we make. The just getting notoriety on any type of platform, whether that's SoundCloud, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, that's just a plus. But outside of that, anything above that is just a positive. Like anything when it comes to meeting up with people, anything that comes with just hanging out with, connecting with other people is just a plus at the end of the day.
And then not only that, like also, like you said, like look at the platforms. We're not just on SoundCloud anymore. Like you gotta think about it. Before and shout out to Amuse and shout out to Amuse. I definitely use Amuse. Shout out to Amuse because Ryan, he's definitely a great help with that company. But before Amuse and Ryan really came in the community when it came to this platforming, a lot of people that was trying to put funk music on platforms got taken off. Like
Yeah.
literally, like some of my favorite 1999 songs will go off the platform, like what's going on, this, that, and the third. And I would think that the artist was taking them down just for rebranding, but at the end of the day, like the platforms themselves was taking them down. And now like it's to the point where it's like almost literally every week we're getting at least a single or a project or EP from funk artists all over the world on all platforms.
Yeah, because uh, I know Demon was in chat earlier, but he literally just released his newest Volume 3 tape
So,
with
I think it's
Twilight Trap and Volume 3.
make sure y'all stream that Twilight Trapping. I'm probably gonna I'm thinking about bringing back the review streams again. So we might actually play that. We might actually play that this weekend if I get some time.
Yeah, he has DSC off on it. He has Kato. I think he has Kato on it and Von Storm on there and a ton of other people that I'm definitely missing. I think he has Bad Kids and he also has St. Pawn on there. Um, I have to go back because I only got one monitor and I can't check my Spotify right now, but he does have a lot of heavy hitters in the funk community on that album. And he's definitely, even though like
One
we
of the
had these
fastest rising artists in the
conversations, yeah,
game.
yeah, definitely. And we've had these conversations before. He was really hesitant in meeting me IRL for the first time, but after the second time, um, he's a lot more comfortable with just helping a lot of people out, and it's sort of like a you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You support me, I support you, and it just helps everybody out at the end of the day, basically.
No, it's fair. I actually met Demon through the 808 Wave Discord. Definitely
Hmm.
shout out to him. Started playing him on the review shows before we had to revamp.
Hmm.
But definitely shout out Young Demon, one of the newest Funky Town Discord members of 2024. Proud to have you in the Funky Town family. And and we'll and definitely Demon, we definitely gotta, I'm gonna say it right here on the podcast, Demon, if you're watching,
You're
definitely have
next.
to, yeah.
You're
Look,
next,
look.
bro.
We do got we do got Dre Mathis. We got Dre Mathis this weekend. I know people seeing the stories. We do got Dre Mathis this weekend, but
Hmm.
Demon, we can, we gonna get me.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's one of three workhorses in this community. Another one is Odd One Out and Lil Rocket Man. They make and grind so many tapes and so many tracks. It's crazy the amount of work that they can put out in the matter of just a month. Like just shout out to
Rocket
them.
Man in his prime. He had joined Funky Town like in his prime of releasing songs. And like I said, bro, it's just and I'm gonna just say this to, everybody who I've came across, in the Funky Town community that came across the Discord, you know, I've appreciated all of them, you know, just you feel me, just showing love, like in the beginning days, like Freddie Confetti.
Yeah,
Freddie Confetti was one of the first 50 members of Funky Town when I started that Discord.
yeah, man.
So just, people like him, everybody, it's just great to really see. And even people like you said, coming across Funk Around and Find Out. And honestly, for your side of like your story with music, what's how did your inspiration with funk start?
So that's actually funny because I never expected myself to actually be a producer in this at all. Like I never thought that making music would be a route that I would actually take. I tell people this all the time that, well, I tell people two things. I didn't, I started as a video creator and I always start as a fan. Before anything, I'm always a fan.
We
Whether
all
it
start as
doesn't,
a fan.
it doesn't matter how many people I meet. It doesn't matter how, in quotations, famous I get. I always started as a fan. Like it doesn't matter that I meet Holy Mob members. It doesn't matter if I meet Purple Posse. It doesn't matter if I met Back When or whoever it is that people know me from or know me for making videos. I'm always a fan before anything. And going back to like how I transitioned to making music, I actually transitioned like my YouTube channel from being like a tech oriented review channel because I love making computers. I love building stuff, even though I get frustrated half the time
Mhm.
I make stuff in general. Um,
What's your
I
favorite thing that you've built so far?
my computer, bro. That's the reason why I'm here today. Like I built my computer from scratch. I didn't do a tutorial, but I literally followed everything. I literally looked up as much as I possibly could. Um, but transitioning from that to music, I took like a 2 or 3 year break from making any types of videos and went straight to making music out of nowhere because I got COVID. I was in my house for like 3 to 4 months, and that's when I really honed into finding out what funk is. I found how Spotify is killing funk. I went through the rabbit hole of how Purple Posse, AP, and Holy Mob changed the funk genre in general with Von Storm and like the Yokai videos on YouTube. And then from that, I just went through the rabbit hole of the tutorials from Zap Beats 127 and recently Shinzo making tutorials in general. And from that, I downloaded kits. Obviously, everybody gets the kits from Reddit at this point. And from that, I just tried as hard as I possibly could. I failed for like a year straight until like recently, I got a lot better when it came to actually making music in general. Like, I don't post as much, and that's for the reason that I'm really hard on myself, like everybody else is. When it comes to making drops, making videos, it's kind of the reason why it takes so long with making stuff because I feel like I'm a perfectionist. But transitioning from that, I never thought the idea of making funk videos would be a thing. And
Mm.
then I was like, oh, Yakai's doing this. It really didn't matter the views. It's like I was reading the comments mainly, and I was like,
You
oh,
wanna know somebody who really like started that before it was really cool.
yeah,
Sleepy 16, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm sorry to just say this, bro. I know most of the community would know him as Stupid Beats,
yeah. He just recently rebranded too.
he was one of the ones who was doing the funk videos. He was doing the TikToks in a 20, like probably right after I was right at, I think it was right after our first or second interview.
Yeah.
Literally right after we were doing them interviews, he started rebranding
Mm-hmm.
and he was doing the funk, like just behind the scenes, making an ambient funk type beat, Memphis funk type. Like he was doing a video almost like every day for like 2, 3 months straight. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe longer.
Yeah. Him and Mac are really like I think Mac made a different funk genres video, but it was really good. Like he's a great graphic designer. He only has like a one-off video, but it's really good and it really describes each individual subgenre of funk. But those are two great people. But going back to transitioning from tech to actual videos. I didn't know it was a niche or a recommendation until people saw I think my first I think if you probably remember this guy, he was like tape reviews. It was like funk tape reviews like on Instagram.
Mm.
I think he taped I think he recorded his review for like the last DJ Young Vamp tape. I think it was I Need More Blood Part 2. No, not I Need More Blood Part 2. It was something Part 2, but I remember he gave like a really he criticized it a lot, but I that's when I realized, oh, there's a niche for this. So there's not a lot of people doing this at time. At that point, it was there were probably half a dozen people that made videos on funk that I actually knew. So seeing that seeing that niche open up, I felt like it was definitely my time to transition from making tech videos to making fun community videos or just making IRL videos, vlogs, etc., etc.
No, no, definitely. And especially during the time where I was revamping, I can definitely say you definitely helped carry on for the interviews because we definitely like with the after hours going live on IG, not even just doing interviews with the artists who we were doing them with that week, but also just having just random Funky Town Discord members just hop in the live, just have fun just on some family type stuff because we knew that we weren't all in the same city. So
Hmm.
it's like we were just like making a home on the internet. And
Yeah,
that's what Funky Town kind of is to me. Like when I really think about what is Donnie Nola's Funky Town, when I get to, you know, do interviews with y'all, put y'all on the podcast and just not even that, or just even just sit here and conversate, just have real conversations live on Twitch, like how people used to do it on IG. Just doing that is kind of like it's a home base. It's like that's kind of like coming home to like the family.
yeah, and I would say there's one person that just popped in my head as soon as you said that, but it was like the first time I met him when he came to Dallas and performed his first show. I think his first or second show in America, and that's Freddie Confetti. He he supported like you said earlier, he supported you from day one. He really has honed into a lot of different people that you would never expect. Like he digs deep into like finding up and coming talent, people that nobody knows, and just collaborating with them, seeing if he could get on a video with them, seeing if he could actually fly out because he's been almost everywhere that I can imagine when it comes to either performing a show, meeting up, IRL meetups in general. I'm guessing that's the exact same thing, but he is one person that I feel like has definitely been a number one supporter. It doesn't matter who it actually is, as long as you're able to put in the work. He's definitely either been in the comments on an Instagram video, YouTube video. He's definitely a number one supporter, and I can't stress that enough.
No, and I'm gonna be completely honest, man. I didn't get my chance to, meet Freddie during the time. So when y'all had that conversation, did he like how was his view on the community and like did he really like speak on anything when it came to the funk community, like just in y'all conversation?
Um, he he really it's kind of difficult to explain in like his words because his words are his words, and my opinion or my words could be something completely different. But he he takes more of a personal approach when it comes to like meeting people because he told me this that he doesn't really chase numbers as much even though everybody wants to make money off of this. He chases or he tries to emphasize being personal to the people that he collaborates with, which is kind of the reason why he doesn't do that many collabs or he doesn't drop as much as he used to. But man,
I'm glad
I
he
completely
thinks like
forgot.
that. I'm
I
glad
completely forgot yeah, he's
I'm
more
glad he thinks
personal.
like that
That
because no, at the end of the day, being more personal is what drops the best songs. And
yeah.
I'll say it like this to this day. When it comes to that, me personally, even in all the funk songs that I've done, I've only dropped two collaborations ever with people. The
Hmm.
Doja Man and Space Amoeba. But
Yeah.
those like, and even to this day, we don't. We're all, especially Shy Space. We're all busy. Space is busy working. Make sure. Oh, it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month. If you're watching this right now, if you're watching this stream before the day ends, put your submission in for that Murder Posse tape. Today's the last day. If you are watching this stream now and you are a funk producer,
I
you
should make
better
my
do that
track.
now. I am
I
going
should,
to let y'all know.
I should make my track today.
Definitely. So
Hmm.
for sure. But like I said, it's personal. Space Amoeba helped me run Funky Town when it came to the after hours and stuff and everything. When it came to doing the lives and all of that. So me personally, like when it came to working with him and Doja, like, and it's no offense, like the only other, it's a couple of people. I could say I could see myself working with Zero, Young Lover Boy, um, oh, DJ Bodega Cat.
Hmm.
There it is. And Apocalypse and Bad Kids.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, like, I was just listening to the episode or the video that you did with Blackbound, and I think one thing that you did talk about was like his early inspirations and like how he got into funk. I think we did talk about that, but I was gonna ask how did you actually get into funk? Because I don't I think you probably talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to ask the question for you.
After listening to Always Proper in their ambience and stuff, and I seen Immune transition. I think I heard about North Posse. Ryan Celsius channels did come across a couple times in my YouTube, but with most of Ryan's stuff, the names and stuff aren't on there. So I was just listening to you know the the stations. But I think the first time I really decided to like pay attention, it was Immune and DJ Ten. DJ when I heard DJ Tent's Tenant Windows project that he did with Ryan Celsius, that was the project that really made me say, okay, like, and it started off for me just wanting to interview Tent. But then some days I would just be on my phone. I would have the IMPC app on my phone, and I just made like six experimental funk tracks on my phone by accident. One of them was a lo-fi song, and two of those songs winded up becoming the Doja Man and Space Amoeba collaboration. And like I said, like I just always just had my interest in funk, just like watching the Immune just transition. So it's just always been there. But once I did those experimental tracks, and then I dropped that little D4L project that I did with Space and Doja, I just experimented from there. But like I said, I just kept my main focus on, doing what we're doing now, just having, great interviews and stuff and just just having fun, just having fun, like platforming the people that we need to platform out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is also another question I literally just thought of, but you've definitely had. I definitely have to go back into like researching more about like what you've done previously. But two questions. Who's someone that you will want to get on here, even though it might not be scheduled right now? And the second question is, you definitely met bad kids IRL before, um, probably multiple times if I can imagine, or maybe that just that one off time. But who's like one person that, well, for me it's Roland Jones, but who's somebody that you would want to meet IRL?
I have two. I'm gonna have to think about the second one, but I know firsthand. Honestly, no. I got my two answers hands down. Actually, I won out and Space Amoeba because it's like with me in Space, I have to meet Space because we actually I have to put three on that list. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I won out Space and Keith Guru because when Funky Town originally started, when I did the first playlist, when I was doing the playlist for the first 3 months, Keith Guru was by my side. Literally, whenever he wasn't busy at work, Broham helped me put the original Spotify playlist together. He like Keith Guru was and he was the one that put me on the stupid when I started the Discord.
Yeah, and
Keith definitely did so much for the Funky Town when it started. Space Amoeba carried that on once while when Keith was transit and shout out to Keith. What he's doing with this drum and bass right now, bro. Don't ever stop, bro. Don't ever stop, bro. If you
yeah,
once you hear this, bro, just know that.
yeah.
But
Also, I was gonna say, um, I literally put it in my notes too, but one person I do want to meet um, is Nikki Slime. I really want to meet Nikki Slime. He's
I feel like that's on
so
everybody's
dope.
list.
He's so dope to me. Like that's one person I want to have a conversation with again. But every single time he's radiant as sunshine, or like ray of sunshine, however people want to describe it. But he's
Nikki
so cool.
Slime is the funk. That's like your funk community best friend. If you don't like, bro, if you don't like Nikki Slime, bro,
You're doing something wrong.
you really got issues, bro. You really do.
Yeah, man. When I was talking to Freddie, that was like his recommendation to get a video with. And I said, that's actually shocking because like I talked to him, he's cool, but I never had like a one-on-one conversation with him. But like as soon as like we stopped recording, he told me like the story of how he was able to like lift his spirits when he was hanging out with him IRL. And I thought it was the greatest example of why people flock to him basically, or like they're behind him.
I say it like this. If Ryan Celsius gave him a job just helping innovate the funk community, like Nick, he has great, great intentions, not just for himself, but for the funk community as well. And
Hmm.
trust me, we've had that and like I said, anybody that's watching, go back to the Instagram, go to the After Hours series. I'm pretty sure you'll find the Nikki Slime episode still there. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to try to get like those old episodes like on YouTube. But like yeah, Nikki, he's just one of them ones. He really has great intentions for the community.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Especially just having like a one-off conversation with him, or maybe like two-off conversation with him. Like I can definitely tell like he's a really great person to be around. Not just when it comes to the music, but just even if like we had nothing to do with funk at all. Like he's definitely a great person to be around.
No, trust me, we've had great off-topic conversations all the time. Like, trust me, like you have a one-on-one conversation with him, it's probably going to be like ours. It's not, that's just something you can't script, you know, with him.
Yeah, yeah,
He's just too authentic. That's just something you can't script. And
yeah. Like
shout out to him.
it's crazy the amount of people that I've had conversations with IRL. You wouldn't imagine that they're a DJ or a producer. Like just the fact that they talk about so many different things, and then you're like, "Oh, I got a show," or like, "I gotta get ready for my set," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like when we're just hanging out in other towns, and I completely forget because the time goes by so well. Like we just talk for hours and hours, and most of the time I'm listening because I rather take in like information than just spread information in general. But just listening to people talk in general, or like have conversations, is really eye opening because you would never expect these people to be behind a monitor screen making beats or DJing in general. Like it's really something to see.
Music, music carries life. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's kind of not surprising to me. And, speaking of carrying music, because a lot of people give you the acknowledgement for the great content creation you put out, but you also have a great catalog of music along with the catalog of content. So just like, just starting out on SoundCloud, when was your very first release? Around 2020, 2019?
I think it's still public. I think it was like 2020, like the peak of the pandemic. So maybe the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. So I haven't been producing as long. So I would say maybe 2.5 years. Creating content, I've been doing it basically for about 7 to 10 years. Like different YouTube channels, obviously, and I've definitely taken different photography and videography classes all the time. I'm still getting a lot better because obviously there's always room for improvement all the time. But like I said earlier, I started as a content creator or like somebody that's behind the camera in general. I don't like being in the spotlight as much. I like to emphasize the people that I'm talking to or the people that I'm around in general. So I kind of take that step away because it's never about me. Like as selfless or selfish as people want to say like, yo, your channel's dope, your channel's awesome. It's never about me or it's never about like the brand that I'm trying to expand. It's always about the people that I bring on. It's always about the video that I'm creating. It's always about the people that I'm talking to. It's never about me. I really don't want it to be about me at all. I always want it to be about the people that I'm either around or the person that I'm talking to.
That's how I look at podcasting. Podcasting is me, but my job is not about me. It's funny. Like the podcast and the brand, that that's definitely what I am, but it's never about me. It's
Yeah.
about the culture.
Hmm.
And that's just for me, that's just how it's always going to be. So like, when people ask me about stuff I'm doing for myself, I'm like, that's the podcast. That's interviewing creatives. That's having these conversations for up and coming creatives to take notes to. And,
Yeah.
just that's what that's me. So, it's a confliction when it comes to saying, what's the difference like for me and what's the difference for everybody else. But the one thing I can say is, I mean, I'm happy doing like sitting here doing these interviews, just platforming, creators. That's enough for me.
Yeah. I would say like
That's why I'm
similar
selfish
to
at.
yeah. Yeah, man. I was gonna say it's sort of similar to how I am IRL because I always like taking a step back to just analyze like what's around me. Like it's kind of weird because like how I grew up is like I always gotta check my surroundings. I always gotta shut up before I say something because I don't know if I'm gonna piss somebody off or if I'm gonna say the wrong thing that'll cause another trickling effect down the line. But just making sure and listening pot- potentially could either save your life or it can save you from having a conflict in the future, which is kind of like the reason I always step away from different conversations or conflicts in general, and I just analyze why is this happening, what's going on, and is there a possibility of actually fixing this? Because I that's the reason why I do it all the time. Like I'm always quiet, I'm listening, just making sure that nothing actually happens because like no conflict is good conflict because similar to how people say slow motion is motion. I guess how people talk about growth in general, but it's sort of the similar concept in my eyes.
Nah, real shit. And, you know, taking it back to your catalog because, you know, like you said, going at the end of 2020, because I'm looking at the catalog, you got singles, you started on our platforms, you started off with Haunted Hollows. Well, I'm pretty sure that wasn't the very first song.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it came to transitioning, to our platforms, what are some of the songs that you could really speak on that really have like a story behind it?
Um, there is one song. It's I think it's Loyals. I have to actually pull it up right now.
Mm,
Um, but there's a song that I can credit to this day for being the song that a lot of people don't know it. But it's very popular on Spotify. It's not popular on SoundCloud as much, but this is the song where like it speaks more volumes than I can ever imagine, and I still don't know to this day how I actually made it. And it's The Usual. The Usual is hands down my favorite song that I've ever made. I don't care what anybody says. It's super chill. Like it's not anything hard or anything, but The Usual. I, it's funny because the reason why I named it The Usual is because I always say that term. It's like another day. It's just the usual all the time. That's sort of like the background to that. So it's like another day, chill all the time. Sort of the background to the actual song. It's personally my favorite. I don't care like how far in the future that I grow. That's hands down my favorite track that I've ever made.
definitely. That's probably going to have to be the one that I add to the radio playlist. But speaking on the Haunted Tales series, what inspired you to start the series for that?
Um, I would say because obviously I named it Haunted Tales because a lot of people drop during the Halloween season. That's sort of just the main reason why. But it was also inspiration because I remember first inspiration that I actually had when it came to funk would have to be Barry Main, and Roland Jones, specifically Barry Main, and now it's sort of leaning towards more a space, just because he's growing up really fast in a short amount of time. But those are the main influences from those actual tapes or those actual EPs that I dropped.
No, Space definitely has that haunted music for sure. No cap.
Yeah, yeah,
He definitely has that. I ain't even going, definitely shout out to bro. He's definitely always had that, that haunted, that's definitely his shit. You feel me? So, you know, so when it came to, collaborating more with artists in the funk community, how did you take it upon that? But did you take it upon just approaching and collaborating with, or was it more from a personal relationship status?
um it's kind of funny because in my opinion I'd rather collaborate with somebody on a video. Like I have a video lined up with somebody right now that I'm working with, but that's in the near future. It's really hard for me to collaborate with people on music because I don't see myself as a decent producer, even though a lot of people say I make really good music. I just don't see myself at the level that I want to be right now. So that's kind of like the reason why I have maybe less than a dozen collabs, or I'm featured on like a tape somewhere down the line. But it's very far and few where I collaborate with people. But if I were to collaborate with anybody, it would have to be based off of just personal experience. Like I would have to meet them in person, or I would have to literally have countless messages or DMs with the person that I actually trust them and they actually make really good music.
Not gonna lie, it's kind of how it was with Space when we did Murder and Soho.
Hmm.
Same way, same way with Doja.
Yeah,
Like I dropped my debut funk single ever. I dropped with Doja. So it's like for me to drop my funk debut with with a collaborator, it goes to show how far the relationship goes for me and all that. So like me personally, I definitely understand that factor. So and honestly, that's why I mentioned Bodega Cat in the list because me and Bodega Cat like, and it don't gotta be every other day, but it just like we might just be random. We'll just once we talk, we'll just talk. So
yeah,
it's like it's just random with me and him, but that's still the bro because
yeah,
like at the end of the day, we relate how we relate, and that's just how it's gonna be. So
yeah. I think the even it's kind of funny like how I'm thinking about it right now, but like literally I've had conversations with hundreds, if not thousands, of people. Like it's not a no. It's just I need to think about it, or it's not like I'm denying you right now. It's just you need to think about it at the end of the day because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of like
the more the
knowledge.
more the
Yeah,
more the more authentic, the better the hit.
yeah, exactly. Because you're never gonna go back to. And this is kind of funny because I know there are a lot of people that make money off of just collaborating with people and just buying features in general. Like I know that's a whole business, and business is different from personal, but no one's gonna go back to that one collab that you did with so and so. No one's gonna care. Like you might have gotten a boost in your streams for like maybe a couple weeks, maybe even 2 months, but no one's gonna go back to that stream and they might say it's their favorite track, but no one's gonna see anything besides, oh, you paid for this feature, that's dope. Like they're gonna go back to the tracks where they know both the artist or it's more of a personal approach to the artist because both of their sounds blend a lot better versus having a one-off collab with somebody that pays an insane amount to have a feature.
No, no, big facts. And I mean, I'll say it like this. Now, this is where I draw the line with features. I pay homies for features. If we have a good relationship like that and you charge for features, I'm not gonna try to ask for the homie handout. I'll pay it.
Hmm.
Charge me like I've done that plenty of times with people.
Yeah,
But we already still had a great relationship prior to me paying for that feature. Because honestly, like it don't matter if we're homies. Like if the bond is there, and I want to respect your brand, I'll gladly do it. Especially if we
yeah,
already have a great bond. You feel me?
yeah.
So like, you feel me? So for me, it's like I just I just look at it as like, okay, I'm paying you for the feature, but what do we have going on? You know,
Hmm.
if it's if there's nothing going on, but besides me doing this feature, then it's gonna be it's the promotion's not gonna be authentic or anything like that. I think about all of that stuff. You feel me?
Hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a good example, but I think the only example that I can think of is like only two left alive was Sudier and DJ Smokey because both their sounds at the time that they made that entire album, that's a memorable tape. That's one of my favorite albums or my favorite tapes to date, that they've ever put together, and it's authentic. That's why people still go back and talk about it all the time. That's one prime example, that I can actually think of right now.
Nah, big facts. And when it comes to, the work that you're doing for 2024, are we going to see another Haunted Tale series or even a little project release?
Um, that's kind of funny because I've been putting out a lot of singles recently, and I haven't posted anything in the last 3 months just because I've had a lot of family stuff happen in like the last month and a half, and like I could talk about that off camera and everything, but obviously family comes first before everything.
Always.
I'm a very family oriented person. This is it's kind of the reason why I don't post as much because family always comes first. Like even though they bug the hell out of me all the time, family always comes first. There's absolutely no exception. I don't care how much I they get on my nerves. I don't care how much I get on their nerves. Like family has to come first. But in terms of like drops, I'm pretty sure I have plenty of singles coming out for the coming future. When it comes to tapes, I don't have anything in the works right now. I do plan on having maybe a collab EP or having that be a video series in the future, but there is one spoiler that I do want to give, and it's definitely going to be I'm working on a video series when it comes to helping out producers that are actually just getting started. That's definitely something that you guys can expect in the next month or two.
Oh, wow, big facts. Definitely going to have to tune into that because even no matter how much I know, no matter how much anybody knows, you just never know. Somebody
Yeah,
might unlock something that you never know. So,
yeah.
so, and one thing that I want to just speak on for those who are a fan that they see the IG content on, when it comes to interviewing creatives or even just doing content, having a conversation with them, what are some of the important keys that you have when it comes to just like having those conversations with them?
So like the videos I do in general, like
Yeah,
with the talking to people in general,
yeah, yeah.
um, I definitely structure a lot of this stuff. A majority of everything usually goes off script. And that's really great on my part. Like it doesn't matter how much I can actually plan for anything. It doesn't matter what I actually want to have my points be. Majority of the time everything usually tends to go off script because that's just how life goes. You can't really 100% guide your way through life, Monday through Friday or like Monday through Sunday. Like nothing in this world is planned. Like I always say, I keep saying this, and I'm gonna probably put this on a shirt and maybe do a show with the shirt on it, but like every single day is a gift. Like every single day is a gift. Like if you have family with you, if you have people that you trust close to you, every day is a gift. And I do take that for granted a lot. And I always have to step back and realize that every day that I'm alive, because there are a lot of people that are gone from this world that we basically take for granted. And I gotta step back and think that every time I hang out with people or I see my family downstairs or the people that I talk to or the people that I hang out with, it's always the next time. Like there is never a goodbye. It's always the next time. Even not even to get religious, but like if there's like an afterward, whatever you believe in, I really don't care. Like I don't discriminate on that whatsoever. But this is never a goodbye. It's just until next time.
Nah, big facts. And honestly, my analogy is that shit, like sometimes is might not wake up tomorrow. So, just try to value life the best way we can.
Yeah.
That's especially with people, that's the reason why, sometimes, not as consistent with stuff, especially, sometimes going on the road, sometimes, dealing with life, dealing with people, dealing with family. So, you know, it definitely gets like that.
Yeah.
Some people that are definitely into the to the fans out there. I know running your brand is definitely important, but you know, can't run a brand if you don't got the people there that you really want there. So especially just have them there while they're here with you.
Yeah. Like no music, nothing like whether it's blood related or like it's just a homie that you met in high school, middle school, or college. Like like never taking anything for granted. Like you just never know in this life at all. Like I still have a heavy heart like the last month or two, but like you just can't you really can't take anything for granted in this world. Like at all. That's literally just me saying music aside. That's literally the best advice I could give anybody. Just treat every day as it's a gift.
Man, for real. And honestly, that's the message that we're gonna go out with on this podcast. And nah, for real, that's
Hmm.
because I was gonna give the final gem and advice, but man, I don't think there's nothing that could top that answer right now. And I definitely appreciate you.
Hmm.
Definitely appreciate you. Coming on here. For for the funk fans out there. What's some of the recent singles that they can tune into right now? For me, I'm gonna tell them $1 Million Lean. That's one you can definitely tune into. That's a great little vibe right there. But what's some of the singles out there that they can tune into?
Um, I would say on SoundCloud it's College Fun. That's a hard track that I decided to make. The like I said earlier, the usual. Anything that I made from the 808 beat battles. I haven't been consistent when it came to dropping tracks, but I will drop those tracks that I actually submitted to the actual Discord server. Some people really like them for some reason. I keep saying that, but it's just obviously me critiquing myself. But there are a lot of tracks that I'm trying to get more experimental when it comes to like I'm trying to do more UKG, UK garage in general, more R&B, in my feelings type shit, because Tony and Eric D are like really big influences for me. But yeah, that's kind of what I have entail for the future. And videos, like I said earlier, working on that series to help a lot of new producers out. And yeah, all I gotta say is shout out to all the homies that have definitely put me on the map in general. I really couldn't be anywhere without any of the people that share my videos, my music, or anything. Um, I just want to give them a shout out. There's way too many people to name. That's all I have to say.
Nah, definitely shout out 808 was join that Discord, but
Hmm.
don't. It's not for the weak-hearted. The beat battles is crazy. It's not for the weak-hearted now. I'm just like I'm not trying to put you in the war zone and you just gonna get hit on the first mine. But I'm just letting you know, just
Too
join
much
there.
talent. Too much talent.
Oh, trust me, I watch. Trust me, y'all don't know. I be watching. I be watching through the grapevine. Y'all don't know.
Plus,
So
you never know who's watching. I sent there was a video I sent in 808. It was like somebody sent a Tory Lanez type beat and Tory Lanez rapped on it. Like you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching at all.
never know. But you already know that it's your boy Donnie Nola, aka Mr. Nola with the Doja. Danny Techaholic. Y'all better follow it. You feel me? Let Me Rap With You podcast. You already know. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Appreciate everybody that's going to tune in on the YouTube next week. You already know. So definitely make sure y'all get your comments ready. You know, definitely had a great little rewind back. Tune in on the Twitch. Make sure y'all follow. Appreciate everybody. We on the road to 100 followers on Twitch. Didn't even think we get there. You feel me? So definitely appreciate everybody that's tuning in. DT, appreciate you, bro. And we
Word
are
up.
out of here. May the funk be with you, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
You already know.